What the duck is up, everyone? Thank you for joining us for another episode of Duck Takes. My name is Blake, as always with my co-host Garrett.
Hey, everyone.
And we are fresh out of Sinners, Ryan Coogler's newest film, his newest vampire horror film starring Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, and many others that we will make sure to give credit because everyone was fantastic in this movie. So, Garrett, you told me, we walked out of the theater, and you said, I'm not talking to you until I get over here. So I don't really know. I mean, I feel like I can tell what your feelings are about this movie, but off rip, what were your feelings about Sinners?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
What'd I tell you?
Nah, that's a peak movie right there.
Mm-hmm. Peak theater experience too.
That was awesome seeing that in IMAX.
Yes.
When the screen got wide for that fight scene, I was like, oh shit is about to go down.
Oh, the aspect ratio switching up.
Bro.
Always is a beautiful moment when the aspect ratio switches
really
up on
is.
an IMAX screen.
It lets you know shit's about to get real.
Yes.
Like when that happened in Hunger Games.
Yes.
And it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
And there's a whole 10-minute video of Ryan Coogler talking about how they filmed this movie, all the different, film cameras, the millimeters, 8mm, 35mm, 65mm that they filmed with this, the IMAX camera, the perforations, the IMAX 70mm. A 10-minute video that Warner Brother posted that, I'm not gonna lie, is probably like the coolest video to me that Warner Brothers has ever posted, and like is one of the coolest promotional videos they posted as well. It is a 10-minute video, and this thing like had millions of views.
Wow.
Like people were
watching it,
intrigued and watching
intently,
Ryan Coogler explain this shit, because Ryan Coogler also, explains this in such a way that's like a very sort of relatable to the average filmmaker as well. Like he makes it very, intellectual, but like simple at the same time, Now
that I've seen the movie, I'm going to go watch that video.
Yeah, you should. Highly recommend.
But, this was by far the best movie of the year.
Easily best movie of 2025.
Yeah.
And
easily.
people are going to say, I'm getting paid to glaze it, but I wish I was getting paid to glaze this.
Really not.
I wish I was getting paid to glaze.
Mickey 17 was my most anticipated.
Was?
This was better than Mickey 17.
Yeah. No,
for sure.
This is 100% the best movie of the year for me. And what I love about Sinners is, it doesn't necessarily reinvent the wheel for a vampire movie.
No.
But it does such a good job at making itself distinguishable from the other vampire movies.
Mm-hmm. No, I was all in just like this setting. For one, I love the setting.
Yes.
I don't know, like all the characters were just so interesting. And they throw you into the story like right off the bat. Like you just feel like you are already in it. And all these characters were just so charismatic. Like they all seemed like they genuinely had been living in Mississippi all their lives. And just, I don't know, like you just immediately got swept up in everyone's personality.
Yes.
And like even when they picked up Omar Benson Stiller's character, Cornbread. Like when they picked him up, within 5 seconds, we already got a taste of like, what kind of person he was.
Right.
Just in that small interaction that they had, and him disrespecting his wife. He's like, I'm gonna come over there and beat your ass. Just like that simple interaction, just let you know exactly what kind of person he was. And added to Michael B. Jordan's character as well. Stack. It was so good. I loved him playing a set of twins.
Yeah, so
Stack and Smoke.
Michael B. Jordan did a great job playing twins, and I feel like that can definitely be very hard to do in a film, but he did a great job at having each twin have their own personality that's distinguishable from the other. Smoke
definitely the more serious one.
All business.
More business oriented for sure. And Stack kind of like more of like a man of the people kind of thing.
Yeah.
And definitely a joker.
Mm-hmm.
And a bullshitter, as we saw towards the end of the movie about the guitar. I thought he did a great job at distinguishing between the brothers.
So for more insight of really the setting of this movie, quick letterbox premise of this: dance with the devil. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. So this movie takes place in 1932 Mississippi. Deep in the plantation fields of Mississippi, deep south. And that's something that I definitely love about Ryan Coogler's films. In particular, I think about, Black Panther and Wakanda. But, Wakanda is just as an important character to Black Panther, just like how this setting in Mississippi, deep south Mississippi, is an important character for Sinners.
You mean location?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it has like a character essence to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Like the community. Or the
just like the setting, the environment.
Yeah.
The environment really sets the tone.
All right. I was just trying to.
No, I wasn't.
I was misunderstanding.
Okay. Yeah, I'm saying like the atmosphere is its own character.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I kind of get what you're saying now.
Right. So yeah, upon arriving, we have our twins, Smoke and Stack, like we were saying, and they want to start a juke club.
A juke joint.
Juke joint for their people. And this isn't a place where the whites are allowed,
Yeah. Nah, they, every other place in town was, I'm sure, segregated and everything. So they were just trying to create a fun place where their people were welcome, their community was welcome.
Yeah.
And things go awry pretty quick. But honestly, it's interesting, because I don't know, I feel like some people going into this, might get pissed with how long it takes to get to the actual horror aspect of this movie, but I had absolutely no problem with them going place to place, getting everything in order. It just it really made you feel like you understood this community. And I feel like them getting people that them going and getting everybody and gathering everybody for this opening was extremely important to the impact that, their deaths and everything later on in the movie had. And
just the character, you get a sense of their characters as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because, most of the comments on the posts that I made about this movie so far are generally positive. But some of the few negative comments were talking about the pacing and how, it was such a slow build up for only 30 minutes of action. I'm like, dude, I love the pacing of this movie.
It's great.
I'm starting to learn that I'm more
you like slow burn movies.
I'm more of a fan of slow burn than a lot of people are.
Yeah.
You could say Dune Part 1 was a slow burn as well.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love a good slow burn.
Hateful Eight. Slow burn.
Yeah. I love a good slow burn because it just makes I feel so rewarded by the end if it finishes strong. If you have a great climax, it's just, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Another negative comment that I saw was about how sexual this movie was. And this movie definitely was more sexual than I thought it would be.
Yeah, more than I expected.
But one, it's a rated R vampire movie. And here's the thing, vampire movies have always been sexual.
They have.
Always been sexual.
Which, and I don't know if that's speaking to vampire lore or anything like that. I don't know if that's if that's always been the case or if that's a more recent development with television and everything like that.
I think it's always been that case. Because even the TV shows that you see, they are usually pretty, pretty sexual.
And I feel like the reason for that is it's probably the easiest way to
feel something,
to lure people.
That too.
No, that's that is the easiest way to do that.
So that's what I was thinking. You have, sex is a temptation.
Yeah.
You could say the devil's temptation.
Yeah, quite literally.
Quite literally, it is the devil's temptation. And, people don't stray away from it. That's just facts.
Yeah.
But it's a very inducing temptation that can be very hard to reject.
Yeah, and easy to exploit.
Exactly.
So and people make themselves vulnerable for sex, 100%. Vulnerable for an attack from a vampire. So it's it makes sense. It makes sense. It's a vampire movie. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And another thing too is vampires live forever. What do you want to feel if you live forever? If you can't feel the warmth of the sun, if you can't feel, just the simplest things in life that you have when you're alive.
That's one of the few positive things you can feel. Yeah.
Sex is something that a vampire can feel.
Yeah.
So it totally makes sense why vampire movies are inherently sexual.
I mean, and I didn't, man, and even without the vampire stuff, I mean, like, this is, people are getting wet and wild at a juke joint in Mississippi. Like, I was like, that shit's bound to happen.
Yes.
Like, it didn't even have to be the vampires. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I got caught off guard a couple times, but I was like, I mean, fuck it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I think it was good too.
Yeah.
I think it was good.
I was down with it.
Yeah. There's even one scene with Haley Steinfeld that I think even caught me more off guard, and I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. If you see it, you know what I'm talking about.
What scene are you talking about specifically in the
when him and her and Stacks are having sex, and I'll just say it, she spits in his mouth.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh shit, she's about to do it.
Dude, he was like, you drilling, baby. You want some? Crazy.
Oh, Josh
shit.
Allen.
Oh, I know.
Got game on and off the field.
Shit, here's the thing though. Is she doing that to Josh Allen? I don't
know.
know.
So
I don't know.
You know what? I'm Josh Allen and I go and watch Sinners and I see that scene, but I'm not getting that in the bedroom. I'd be pissed.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I feel like,
that'd be the first thing I'm asking for when you get home.
Yeah.
Do
you think it could possibly even be like fake drool or spit, or I don't know?
They're not going to go through all that, bro.
They
Dude,
could.
It's spit. It's spit.
But it was such like a clear...
Dog.
We're talking way too much about this.
Yes, we are. But I'm sure there is some kind of pill or something that they have to make you salivate do that.
Absolutely wild. Just wild.
Or even some kind of drink that, makes your mouth salivate more than normal.
So back to the atmosphere of this movie and the setting of this movie. This movie starts off with talking about how some people are so blessed with the talent of music that the music they make can conjure spirits from the past and the future, the living and the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, you could probably even say another main character. Like, it's not just Michael B. Jordan. We have Sammy, who's also known as Preacher Boy in the movie.
Dude, no, Sammy is the main character.
Played by Miles Caton. Is this his first film?
It said introducing Miles Caton. Yes.
This is Miles Caton's first film.
Movie. Yes. I noticed that when they were doing the credit. It said introducing. I was like, holy shit, this is his first movie. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, he was stealing scenes.
Yes.
Amazing job.
Yeah. And all that music is him.
Yeah, he's a singer.
Yeah.
He's actually that great at singing.
Yes.
Wow.
And talented on guitar. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, he collabed with Ludwig making the score.
He did. Well done.
Dude.
Well done.
That's an incredible talent right there.
That's such a great cast.
I hope we see a lot more of that guy in the future. Because wow.
Yeah. So he is really our main character, like one of the main characters that is blessed with this talent, and it is his music that conjures these or lures these vampires to him. Because our main vampire, played by Jack O'Connell, his name is Remick in the movie. Amazing performance as well as our antagonist. Offered that sort of Ramsay-esque.
He reminded me of Ramsay Bolton immediately
from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Yeah. He was absolutely fantastic.
Like completely devious, but just like speaks with that decorum and politeness.
Charismatic.
Yeah.
Everyone in this movie was very charismatic.
Very.
And so Sammy's music lures him to
attracts. He wasn't trying to bring them there, but it attracts the vampires.
It attracts the vampires because, as it says earlier in the movie, how music can bring back, spirits from the past and the future. And he's been alive forever. And when you're a vampire and you're just on this earth forever, you never die. He wants his music to be able to bring back his people, to see his people again.
You know what that kind of reminded me of?
What?
Get Out. And the reason that he wanted our main character in that, I can't remember his name.
What's the?
I can't remember the main character. I can't remember.
Well, I know it's Daniel Kaluuya, but I'm trying
Daniel Kaluuya, but I can't remember the character's name.
No, hang on, because that's one of my favorite movies. Hang on. Why Why am I blanking on this?
I don't know.
Daylight.
All right, but my point being, while you figure that out,
Okay.
The blind guy, he wanted him in Get Out. He's
Chris.
like, I want your
Chris.
He was like, I want your eye, kid.
Yes.
That was his reasoning for wanting him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. That was just something small that kind of reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then you have the incorporation of Wunmi Musaku's character Annie.
Mm-hmm.
Another fantastic performance by her as well, who has this
voodoo type of magic stuff.
Voodoo magic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that is a very Southern thing,
Mm-hmm.
very deep South thing back in the days.
I liked how that was incorporated with the story. It was important. It was very important to have a character like that in this movie, especially with the vampires, because I feel like it's people. I feel like people will come across these like supernatural creatures, and they like strangely know how to deal with it,
mm-hmm.
And so it's like it's important to have like that character who is a bit odd, who studies this weird stuff. They're looked at as the weirdo of the town,
right?
Until it's time to show up, and we got vampires at the front door, and you have somebody who has studied this shit and knows what to do in this situation.
Yeah, very important character, and she is the reason why Smoke does stay safe during all this mess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's another performance in here that I think also just stole the show and offered great like comedic relief as well. Who do you think I'm gonna say?
Slim.
Yes.
Slim.
Delta Slim, who was played by Delroy Lindo.
Great.
He
was the biggest comedic relief in the movie.
But he offered a lot of wisdom too.
No, he did. Like when he was telling that story in the car on the way to the juke joint, like that was a great moment. Just like kind of like just overall wisdom.
Right.
Overall wisdom throughout the story. And honestly, bro, a ride or die too.
Yeah, Omar Benson, who's great as Cornbread as well. He was a good comedic relief too.
Yeah. Until he wasn't.
But Omar Benson has always been one of those actors I feel like that. He's never the leading star, but whatever movie he is in, I always enjoy him because not only, he is a big guy, he has a big statue, so he does kind of bring a big presence. And he's always been a funny guy.
Yeah.
I watched him a decent amount for a few years when that show Ballers was out.
Yeah.
And he was one of the main characters in that show. And but yeah, like he's never a guy that you'll see, in the leading man role, but I do always like the presence that he brings to whatever character he is.
He's normally like that big teddy bear guy, like he's tough, he's gonna protect his own. But at the end of the day, he's just like kind of a big softy. And I feel like he gets, am I wrong? But I feel like he always kind of gets done dirty in whatever movie he's in.
Usually.
Yeah. Because he's just like kind of like this innocent person.
Last thing I want to touch up on before we dive into spoilers, the music, man.
Yeah.
The music.
Oh my God.
Not only, like we said about the atmosphere, the environment of this movie being a character of this movie, the music is as well another character of this movie, because not only do you have fantastic movie, but, I feel like the whole point of this movie is music bringing together a community of people together. Like somewhere it's how you can be free, as they say.
I was getting goosebumps during the movie from the music.
So good.
And I'm not a movie score guy like you are, not as much. And the first thing I did when I got in the car was put this soundtrack on.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I did.
And
it felt like the movie just kept going. And honestly, like I felt like I was still in that world when I was in the car on the way home.
Yeah. It made me want to play Red Dead Redemption as soon as I got home. No, I think it's time that we start having a discussion that Ludwig Göransson can become a top 3 film composer of all time. I think it's not even a crazy thing to see that. I don't even think it's a crazy thing to say that he could become the greatest film composer of all time when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a crazy thing to say.
To be this successful with this many hits
and this
at
young.
This age, insane.
He already has 2 Oscar wins under his belt.
Yeah.
He composed the score for Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther, The Mandalorian,
Oppenheimer,
Tenet, Sinners. Like The
Mandalorian. That's another great score.
I said that.
Oh, you did? All right.
Yeah. I truly, between him and Hans, I've never seen scores move a movie so much, like with the plot.
Yeah.
Like they really almost set the whole movie on its back, because John Williams is the GOAT when it comes to movie themes. But when we're talking about from top to bottom, a full musical score throughout the whole film, I don't go back and listen to the whole film composition of Jurassic Park or Jaws. I do for Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, right?
Yeah.
But, not so much for John Williams. The musical themes are always 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But when I listen to Hans Zimmer and Ludwig, I'm listening to every single song that's on that album. So right now, Hans Zimmer is my favorite film composer of all time. Ludwig is second. He did surpass John Williams for me.
Not crazy to say that.
I don't think it's crazy to say. It is so good. And you have so many different eras of music in this as well. You have your blues music, deep Southern blues music, but also it does switch up to the old Irish music as well. And almost like the Norse mythology strings. Because, our main vampire has been around for so long. He's from Ireland. So he even switches up accents sometimes.
Yeah,
he goes to his Irish accent. He goes to the Southern accent to blend in.
And he was doing like an Irish jig when they were out there dancing. Yeah.
And so you have two different eras of music going on in this movie that are just so cohesive.
And, but going back to Ludwig real quick though, just his variety in music as well. It's like, not only is he doing banger after banger with the score, you will never confuse one score with another. Never. Every time you hear one, you will know exactly what movie it came from because they're just so unique from each other.
Dude.
And this is just another example of, this is like probably the most perfect example because this is an extremely unique score on its own just from movies in general because you have all this Southern blues music going on throughout the entire movie. And it's awesome. Yeah. And he incorporated it into the score. It's incredible.
Like the difference between the Tenet score and the Sinners score could not be more opposite.
Yeah.
And they're both fucking fantastic.
Yeah. And this might be one of my favorite scores that he's done. Like to me, I think it's like this and Oppenheimer for me with him.
Dude, honestly, like between this, Oppenheimer, and Tenet, I really don't know how I would rank them. Yeah. I really don't. Because Tenet, I was just listening to Tenet today in the gym. Yeah. It is so fucking good. And I think it's definitely underrated. I mean, it's an underrated Nolan movie, but not to mention the score is even more really underrated.
I would say those are top 3 for sure.
Oh, those are top 3. Yeah, because Black Panther's great. Mandalorian is great, especially season 2. Season 2 is the best musical score. That's when we get, the return of Luke Skywalker, and we get that. Wait, how does it go? It's very slow. It's like a very slow build up.
I can't remember.
But season 2 easily has the best score for the Mandalorian, and the theme is fantastic for it as well. Yeah. He also did Boba Fett, Boba Fett score. But it's definitely top 3 would be Sinners, Tenet, Oppenheimer. And I could listen to the whole soundtrack. The whole soundtrack. I'm not skipping songs. And speaking of not skipping songs, there is one song in particular in this movie called Magic What We Do. And it's this whole one take montage of the film's current music of blues, the past music of the ancient West Africans, the future of rock and roll and hip hop. Yeah. All blended in together in one take, giving us all and throwing in characters from all of those eras
in that party scene. With it,
and it is just
I thought that was amazing,
dude. These are the type of scenes that they're going to be talking about for years to come. This is a movie they're going to be talking about for years to come.
What was even cooler was just how cohesive all the music was with each other.
Dude, the music blended so well together, even with the hip hop and the blues and the rock and roll.
You felt like you were time traveling in the party.
Oh my God.
It's so cool.
And props to cinematographer Autumn Cheyenne Durald, a young female cinematographer. Apparently, I saw a video that said she's the first female cinematographer to work with this format of film.
Interesting.
She did the cinematography for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. She also did it for The Last Showgirl. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought that was one of the positives that I had about that movie as well. And yeah, Sinners. And I thought the cinematography was really good in this movie.
There's a lot of good things about
There's
this
a
movie.
lot of good things. Even like the color grading.
Yeah.
You notice when they some scenes switched up with the type of it was like an older film that had like a grain to it.
I didn't,
and like darker muted colors.
I didn't pay too much attention to that, but
I'm sure, you know what? I'm willing to bet that you might go rewatch it by the time this is done.
I might go rewatch it. That was a really good fucking movie.
I might rewatch it a third time.
It was really good.
I really might. But yeah, so that is our spoiler-free essentially review. We'll dive into spoilers now.
Yeah.
And talk about some of the decisions that they made and some of the other great scenes. So, all right, but now diving into spoilers. So this movie does get batshit crazy at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally lock in as soon as that aspect ratio switches up and they start entering the warehouse.
I was locked in even before that.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, I was locked in when all the vampires were outside dancing.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
That was shot in IMAX too, you could tell.
And dude, it was just so, I don't know. It was interesting to me how they just they needed them to join them. I don't know, they're with this sense of community that the vampires had.
Right. And one thing that was really interesting to me as well is that they needed permission to enter.
Well, that's always been a thing.
Has it?
That's always been a vampire thing.
A vampire thing?
Yeah.
There's but
they need permission to enter a household.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I officially knew that.
That's vampire lore.
Well, they don't do it in Twilight. I think Twilight breaks
there's a lot. Fuck Twilight.
No,
I mean, I enjoy Twilight from time to time, but don't take any info about vampires from that movie.
I was about to say, I think Twilight does break a lot of vampire lore.
Everything they break. The only thing that they don't break is that they drink blood. Everything else is bullshit. They're made of diamonds. They sparkle. They're able to go out in the sun. Pure fiction as far as the folklore goes. The lore is can't go in the sun, and the wooden stakes, the silver, the garlic, and they can't enter a home unless they're invited.
And in Twilight, in order to kill them, you had to rip off their head and burn their bodies.
Yeah,
there was no wooden stake. There was no garlic.
Yeah, they had diamond skin. You can't pierce that with a wooden stake.
Right.
It's all bullshit. Yeah.
Breaks a lot of vampire lore.
It does. So that's just a vampire thing.
Okay.
That they couldn't enter.
But I liked the continuity on that was very good though.
Yeah. And that was your easy tell for if they got turned or not.
Yeah. And because when I first my first viewing, when Haley Steinfeld's character came back, I wasn't really thinking too hard when she was like, "You gonna let me in?" Because it was so casual.
I immediately knew what she was doing.
I knew she had already turned.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really thinking about when she talked to Cornbread like that. But when I saw the second time, I was like,
"Yeah,
that makes sense why she said it like that."
She's like, "You gonna move your big butt out of the way or some shit like
and
that?"
And invite me in.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, come on." Yeah. Another very great aspect of this movie was the horror aspect of it. The horror element. It's a vampire movie, so you know it was going to be there. But I mean, this is Ryan Coogler's first attack at a horror movie. And I thought the horror elements to it were fantastic.
So good.
I thought the jump scares were great too.
Yeah, and it didn't have too many of them. No. And the jump scares that they did have, it wasn't your obvious in your face. No. It wasn't that. It was just very quick changes of screen to especially sound and especially in the beginning of the movie that caught me off guard. They did that a few times when they were in the church and I was
snake.
Oh yeah, the snake. It was never the vampires that were the jump scare. And that I think that's why they got you was because you weren't expecting them.
And the knife through the door. Yeah. And the design for the vampires were also fantastic.
Yes.
I really thought they were great. Very menacing.
Bro, the eyes is what did it for me. The red reflection.
So you know what the inspiration for those eyes were on the vampires and Ryan Coogler Sinners?
What?
Death, Puss in Boots, Last Wish.
Really?
Yes.
I love that.
Ryan Coogler, he was on Straw Hat Goofy's podcast, Get Wrecked, and he talked about the inspiration for the vampires, and death was a big inspiration.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Uh-huh.
That's so cool.
No, the design for these vampires were very menacing, and even like the nails, the fingers.
Yeah. Well, we saw that on Remick towards the end of the movie. Like they didn't all have that.
No.
And I liked that too, because that kind of like sealed him as like top dog. It seemed like he had a little bit more power to him. What with like his flight or like, I don't know if it was like flight or jumping, but it seemed like levitation is what it looked like.
Yes. But then also the teeth as well, I thought had a great design as well. Because, sometimes you just get the vampires like the canine fangs.
Yeah, no, this was like their whole mouth just like morphed into, a mouthful of
right. Canines.
No, Jesus.
Fangs. Not fangs? Right?
Yeah, maybe fangs.
Yeah, fangs.
I don't know why I'm not thinking that didn't click, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, so good. Our dad grew up in Mississippi.
He probably liked this movie.
I feel like we didn't get really many, Mississippi stories from him.
Man, we don't get any stories
I
from
know.
him unless he's had a drink or two.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately.
That man has been around the world, but the cultural stories,
we got nothing.
Missing. Like he always has stories to tell.
There's
no like cultural impact to his stories.
No, it's just like random shit that happened to him.
Because we need some
better dad lore.
I know, we need more dad lore. Yeah, he grew up in Mississippi. He grew up in a predominantly black area. He went to a predominantly black high school. And believe it or not, it was like I feel like it was our mom who kind of gave us more the most culture.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she grew up in Detroit, so then she always had us listening to Motown when we were younger. We've been to the Motown Museum a few times. So yeah, she was always the one to kind of teach us that stuff. But where's the dad? Come on, dad, get on the lore, man.
Crazy. He probably knows all about that blues shit too.
Yeah.
He liked Elvis. Elvis stole blues music.
Yeah. He loved Elvis.
Yeah.
So I feel like one thing this movie also does a great job at is I think it does have like a lot of subtle metaphors, or allegories. Like even when Smoke and Stack are talking about the money situation.
Yeah.
For the juke place. And he gives them the numbers of real money and plantation credit money.
Yeah.
And how if based off of that first night, if it was going to keep up that way, then they'd be out of cash within 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's really, interesting. It makes you think about like generational wealth and how they've always said the most powerful money is old money. And it's kind of true because in this movie, you have a scene where Remick pulls out these gold coins from another time and another place. And yeah, that's old money that like just can still go the length.
Yeah.
Stack saw those gold coins and didn't blink twice.
Yeah.
He's like, let's let these white people in.
Yeah.
Because this is old money right here. And it kind of like makes you think too about, kind of like the generational wealth disparity and kind of like the start that some families, black families had to come from during that time as well. Like all that money that we were seeing, that plantation money was only good in that community. I mean, but what happens when that community is gone, Yeah. The money's no good and they have no money.
Or you go outside that community.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's really interesting on like a social level as well.
Yeah, essentially. Okay. So yeah, I was very, this all goes back to like, the Jim Crow laws and everything like that in these times. And basically, because I thought I knew some of the history, but honestly, I haven't brushed up on it a while.
Okay.
But really what those were, the plantation credits, were ways to keep people in debt to the plantation owners. And essentially, like, basically they were creating a new form of slavery, basically. Like forever keeping them trapped, because they would give them those credits, and they would use those credits to buy. They had like their own stores on the plantation, and they were only good in certain locations. They could only use them at those stores on the plantation. They were essentially just giving it back to the plantation owner. They were never making actual real money. And so you're forever stuck here where your money is good. So yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. But, no, it's another like interesting social aspect to this film as well. There's just so many fascinating aspects to this movie.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot more to, the brief thing that I just read, but man, I got nothing but positive things to say about this movie. Like, I don't even have a critique of this movie. No. Like, I wouldn't change a thing.
Honestly, I don't either. Like, I thought I might after the first watch, and I was like, you know what, let me just go watch it a second time to see if I really have any complaints. I don't. Let's talk about that final scene.
Wait, hold on real quick, though.
Yeah.
When they were fighting Remick in the water.
Yes.
Did you notice what that the thing in the guitar when he hit him, that was made of?
Yeah, the tin. Or the metal that... Are you talking about what it came from, or...
I thought it had to be silver.
Yes, that's what I meant. Silver. Yeah. I meant it only went through his head because it was silver.
Yeah, and it was burning him. While it was in his head.
Right, yes.
Dude, he was like resilient. He was facing like... I think he had been stabbed with a wooden stake twice at that point.
Yeah.
He had the silver in his head, was still alive, then got stabbed again by smoke, and then the thing that finally killed him off was sunlight.
Do you think he grew stronger as his army grew more?
Hold on. There's a word for that.
For what, the army?
Not hive.
The coven?
It's coven.
Yeah. Well, Coven's witch.
Coven's witch.
You might be right with Hive.
I fucking know this because I watched Supernatural all the goddamn time.
Oh shit! All right, look it up.
It might be Coven.
Still Coven.
Yeah, I think it's Coven.
Okay.
House. Yeah, no, Coven. I think is the right word.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think he just grew stronger the more his coven grew?
It is possible.
So after Remick's death, Smoke isn't done. His problems aren't finished because, as we learn, the recent owner that the twins buy this saw house from, that guy was the head of a Ku Klux Klan, and they were gonna kill him the next morning anyways. Everyone in there, and he even told the guy, he was like, if any of your crackers step on foot on our line, we're gonna kill every last one of them. And so they come the next morning. The only person alive at that point is Smoke and Sammy, who has
but Sammy's not there right now.
Sammy's not there, and we finally get to see what he had in the trunk of that truck.
Well, I knew it was weapons.
Yeah, for sure. And this is where we get that scene that you see in the trailer of him just like blasting that Tommy gun. Michael B. Jordan has always looked good.
He has, bro.
He has always looked good. But he was also a soldier. So in the beginning of this battle, he was sniping them down. And just goes to work with that Tommy gun. And it almost sort of gave me like the Django effect, where it's just a sense of revenge.
Did you just say Django?
No. A sense of this. It sounded like I said the D. Obviously, I know not to pronounce the D. It gave me this Django effect where it's just like this great action that has awesome revenge as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this is like a story of vengeance as well.
Yeah. It's got, man, like this movie has everything. It's got vengeance. It's got love. It's got revenge. It's got humor. It's got horror. Everything you could want in a vampire movie.
It's got supernatural shit.
Yeah. It's got fantastic lore.
It's so good. Dude, there's so many positive things about this. Great visual effects. The visual effects on the vampires were good. Also great.
Great practical effects as well. And not to mention, we get 2 post-credit scenes in this movie.
Yeah. I did not expect that from this movie.
I know, right? And honestly, it was kind of like MCU level hype.
A little bit, yeah.
They were good. So the first mid-credit scene that we see is Michael B. Jordan's twin, Smoke's twin, Stack, who was turned to a vampire.
And Haley Steinfeld. Also a vampire.
But those were the only two vampires to escape that night.
Yeah.
And it fast forwards 70 years from 1932 to 1992.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Sammy still alive. He's old. You see the scars on his face, but he's, performing his music. He's got a band.
He has a blues club. He owns the club.
Called
Perlene's.
Because of the lady that he met that night or that day.
Perlene.
She was fine.
She was fine. Hey, at least he got a little taste.
The sexual movie, man.
That's a wild thing to say. I want to see what you taste like. That's a wild thing to say, Sammy.
Man had game.
He did. I mean, shit, she was down with it.
Yeah.
So,
and into this bar walks Stack and why am I blanking on Haley Steinfeld's character name? Mary. And walks Stack and Mary, and you see they're in their 90s clothes.
Yeah. Very hip hop.
Yeah, very hip hop. And they share dialogue, just talking about that night as well. Sammy plays them some blues music. It also shows some flashbacks.
Yeah, he said he missed the real shit.
Yeah.
Which is that blues music that Sammy played so long ago.
Yeah. And honestly, like even seeing those flashbacks, it did bring me closer to the characters. Just like, damn.
Dude, I was like, no, like I'm normally not a huge fan of flashbacks like that too, especially when it's something that isn't like a series of something. Like it's not flashbacking something from a previous movie. It's just flashbacking what we saw now.
Right.
And I feel like we had already built such a strong connection with these characters that I was like, yeah, these flashbacks are like justified. Yeah. And, in their minds, this happened, 60 years ago.
70.
No. 60.
70.
6 plus 3 is 9. 1930, 1990. 6 plus 3, 9.
Oh, shit.
60 years.
Why am I thinking that? I've been bad at math lately.
Yeah, you said 70, and I
I'm not bad at that.
60 years, my guy.
You know what's crazy? The other day, we went to a Bahama Breeze, and I tipped $14 on 53.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote in the tip area 14, but I wrote 77 in the total when it should have been 67.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah. But I got charged what I meant.
Yeah.
But I was like, what the fuck? That does not happen to me.
All right. Well, now it's happened twice.
Shit.
But yeah, 60 years.
Yeah, 60 years. And then the second post-credit scene is just a shorter one of Sammy playing his guitar.
This Little Light of Mine.
Yeah. But it almost leaves, the interpretation that we could possibly get another vampire movie from Michael B. Jordan.
I don't.
Or do you see that as a conclusion?
I saw it as a conclusion. Honestly, I thought.
But why not? Like another vampire movie in another decade.
You know what I would have been down for, actually, had they not done the ending that they did with Smoke?
What's that?
Bro, I saw him get those weapons, and I kind of forgot about the Ku Klux Klan thing coming. Yeah. And I was like, bro, what if we get like a Michael B. Jordan like vampire hunter thing out of this? Like vengeance for his family. I was like, I'm down with that. That'd be sick. That would have been sick.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
And then, but sadly, Smoke did not make it in the end. But I had like that flash of a thought for a second. I was like, oh shit.
Dude, honestly, after Ryan Coogler has now made Sinners, let him do Blade.
Right?
Yeah.
The man knows what he's doing.
And clearly, he now knows how to make a fantastic vampire movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he wants to like kind of muddy the waters of Sinners by getting attached to
vampire
in the MCU and yeah, because like I think this is a great standalone vampire movie
and his first original film as well.
Oh wow,
Yeah. So you had Fruitvale Station, which was his first film, which was based on a true story. Then you had Creed, which was a sequel to the Rocky movies.
Uh-huh.
Then you have Black Panther, which is part of an IP.
Yeah.
Both Black Panther movies, Wakanda Forever and Black Panther. And then now his fifth movie is now his first true original movie.
Yeah. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Good shit.
Good shit. Give him the keys, bro. Give him the keys to the blockbusters, and I think this movie.
I wouldn't be mad if he did Blade though.
No,
I feel like the design of the vampires would not be the same though, because I feel like that's not really in his control.
Right.
But still, like clearly, I mean, Coogler's just always been one that understands the culture though.
Yes.
And I feel like that's a very important part of Blade as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's where the most important aspect of his directing would come in for a Blade movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on a budget of $90 million. And I mean, you know what's crazy? Like, this is probably half the budget that he's used to working with too. Between the Marvel movies that he's done now.
I mean,
kind of insane.
He didn't. I mean, I don't know about insane.
No, I'm just saying it's like insane. It's kind of fascinating to me that, you know, he gets these $200 million budgets for the Black Panther movies, and then he just makes his best movie yet with half that budget.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a bottle film really too.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's like where I was going with that is, you know, it's a very small location.
Right.
And, you know, I'm sure the places that they filmed were not crazy to reserve. Yeah. I mean, shit.
It felt like they filmed on location pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
Which you can feel that.
Yeah. And I feel like, and actually they probably had like a lot of control of the juke joint, but I feel like they definitely built that juke joint just for this movie.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But that thing was probably cheap as hell to build.
Yeah.
It seemed like a very simple wooden structure. But yeah, they didn't really need to go anywhere. I feel like a lot of the money was really into the actors and the VFX. And that's about it.
Yeah.
That's really all you needed.
Yeah, and so it's tracking to open up with 40 to 45 million for its opening domestic weekend. Could end up north of 50 million, which I think is fantastic for domestic opening weekend for this movie as well. And right now, it is just fantastic word of mouth. Like, I only have heard great word of mouth about this movie. I'm spreading the word of mouth about this movie as well.
Hell yeah.
So I think like that's really the most important ingredient to making your movie successful is as long as it is just getting talked about. So I do really have strong feelings that this could be a profitable movie as well.
No, it is definitely going to be profitable. I mean, already on here, 98% Rotten Tomatoes, 96% Fandango, 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
Shit, what's the Letterboxd average right now?
I have no idea.
Letterboxd average currently is 4.2 out of 5.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good for a Letterboxd.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say right now, I haven't put a review up or anything, but this is 5 stars for me.
Yeah.
This is 5 stars. When I go into a movie and I have actually like 0 complaints walking out, and I felt such an attachment to every character. I loved the story. I thought everything about this movie was interesting to me. Bro, you saw me in the movie. Like halfway through, I started sitting like this.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Trust me, I noticed that.
Like, it takes a lot for me to do that.
Yeah. So the first time I saw it, I gave it 4.5 stars. You know, I've been trying to like right away not give a movie 5 stars because I don't want any like recency bias to.
I get that.
Right. However,
but if something invokes that kind of emotion out of you,
no, I agree.
Like that strongly off the bat.
Yes.
I mean, then give it the 5, and if you watch it again, you're like, it wasn't as good as the first time. Then mark it down.
I don't like to retroactively mark things down, but I went into my second viewing the next day with you, and I was like, if I have these same feelings, I am marking this a 5-star movie.
Yeah.
And I may have even, I think I felt stronger the second time around. And dude, there were some parts where I was just getting emotional because I'm like, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
This is filmmaking right here. This is what a fucking blockbuster should be. Dude.
Yeah, man.
And the music is a big factor to that as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you feel that music in your damn soul.
Mm-hmm. I mean, literally, yeah.
It's
soul music.
No, it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, and just something about this movie that makes me kind of hate, like I'm saying this as a, freaking TikTok creator, but
okay.
I hate, like, I kind of hate phones these days. I really do. Like, bro, when we just like see everybody in the juke joint, just like dancing, living in the moment, nobody, like, I just feel like nobody experiences that anymore. Nobody experiences that.
I think that's why I love period pieces so much.
Yes. No, like, I swear there's just such a magic to it.
There is a magic.
There
but that's
really
not
is.
to say you can't put a present day movie in there and have them sort of that similar dance scene as well with no phones. Like
okay,
I think there's plenty of
agreed. But
I think there's plenty of club scenes in today's nightlife where you wouldn't see a phone on the dance floor. I think so.
In a movie or in real life?
In real life.
I don't know.
I think so.
I feel like everywhere.
Maybe not.
No, see, and here's the thing though, is like, it's, to me, what was special is like everybody in that scene while they were all dancing was feeling the same thing in the same moment, and like, it seemed like nobody was distracted.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's never going to be a collective group of everyone experiencing that same feeling at the same time. There's always going to be that one person or those few people that aren't focusing on what they should be, and they're, on their phone, trying to capture the moment on their phone and not feeling it themselves.
Yeah.
And I know I sound like an old head talking like this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just like, there's just something special about that.
I agree.
And I feel like it's very lost in today's society.
I can agree to that. And again, funny enough, being that like social media is now like our life.
It is. And, obviously, one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah.
You're going to.
But I do think that's why sometimes I can struggle, like even vlogging sometimes, because I do just get caught up just being in the moment, or like being there with Summer or being there with friends. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to record this.
It takes you out of it.
Yeah, it can take you out of it. But also, like, I also appreciate making those videos as well and looking back on those memories. So it's a win-lose situation. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Because like our drinking around the world at Epcot.
Yeah,
I'm so happy that we have that video to watch with Snowden and everything. So
yeah, and I love going back and watching that video. I think it's very funny.
Right.
It's entertaining. I loved seeing all the interactions we were getting with people online.
Yeah.
So I do love that aspect of it though. Or I do love that aspect of it, but it like I said, you
I know what you mean.
It's give and take.
Yeah,
it's give and take.
Yeah. So Ryan Coogler now has 5 movies that he's directed.
Yeah.
Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Sinners.
Well, he did Creed 1, 2, and 3, right?
No, just the first Creed.
Oh, he only did first Creed?
He was a producer on the second Creed.
Oh.
Michael B. Jordan directed the third Creed.
Oh shit.
Yes. So this was Michael B. Jordan's first movie since directing Creed 3. So out of those 5 movies, now I haven't seen Fruitvale Station in a very long time, but Sinners is my favorite Ryan Coogler movie now. It is my favorite Ryan Coogler movie.
Yeah.
I think it's the best.
Yeah.
It's, no recency bias. I've seen it twice now, and I think it's safe to say.
Very, very safe opinion, honestly.
Yeah. Have you seen Fruitvale Station?
Nope, but I did love this movie a lot.
No.
I'll have to
it's
say,
a sad story.
All right, well, I have to see it before I make my official Ryan Coogler opinion on his movies, but I think it's pretty safe to say that this is probably my favorite Ryan Coogler movie as well.
Yeah. I mean, like being in the theater for Black Panther, it was special. Don't get me wrong. When all the stars started playing during the credits, special. But I wasn't locked. I don't think I've been locked in for a movie like this. Like my experience with Sinners is one of those few theater experience that I feel a few times a year. This was like a theater experience that I felt with Dune Part 2. And then the year before that, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I just got that same feeling I felt in those showings where I'm just like, I am just in awe. I am emotional just from how beautiful this is. Whatever is happening right now, I am levitating.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Now, simply put, this movie was special. This movie, there's just some movies, you go and see, and it's like you don't have to like justify to yourself like why it was a good movie.
Right.
You know, you don't really have to give any true reasons why. You just walk out with that
feeling.
like that. Yeah. Like
you walk out with a smile on your face.
An amazing feeling. And you're just like, I just watched fucking cinema.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like we walked out today and the sun was setting and I just walked out, put my body, felt the warmth of the sun. And I'm like, I'm alive right now.
Yeah.
It's just one of those feelings.
And the first words that I said on this podcast were the first words that I said when I got in my car. Wow.
Yeah.
Just wow.
Out loud.
Oh yeah. To nobody in the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, wow, holy fucking shit, that was good.
And honestly, I think Ryan Coogler is probably the biggest inspiration to me when it comes to being a filmmaker. And not necessarily in terms of like his catalog or the movie he makes, but really like how I relate myself to him, you know, because I don't know or know, you know, I don't know or feel what, you know, like what he went through personally growing up with his childhood, where he's from. But what I do know, you know, of him growing up in sports, especially football, you know, he was really good at football. He played, he went to college for football.
Yeah. He
didn't even know he wanted to make films until he was like a sophomore in college. He took a writing class, and his professor read one of his papers and talked to him one-on-one and just saw like how visual he was with his writings and said, you know, maybe you should think about writing movies. And at that point in his life, he had never thought about that. The next day, he said he went and bought like a Pulp Fiction. It was like a Pulp Fiction DVD thing where it shows like the script as it's going with the movie.
And like how it,
And he said that was the first script that he had ever seen. So like, this is a man that I can relate to so much, because I didn't know that I wanted to be in this sort of industry until I got to college.
Yeah.
You know, I was always fascinated with the movie stuff, but you know, I couldn't be on the high school football team, but also try theater out. Like that just doesn't work.
Not socially.
No.
Yeah,
Especially
not at the time.
No, not at the time, especially in the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of switched up now.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I can really relate to that, because I was a freshman in college when I decided that, shit, was I even a sophomore? No, I think I was a freshman. I was a freshman in college because I only did 1 year at Stetson for football.
Yeah.
But that's when I decided that summer after freshman year, I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go to school, I may as well continue studying something that I love, that I'm fascinated with. So that's when I decided that I would end up doing film school, because even my freshman year of college, when I started, I didn't really know what I wanted to pursue besides football. If football didn't pan out.
Yeah.
You know, I always thought I could maybe make it to the league. Garrett would hit me with a reality check sometimes.
I would.
A lot of the times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit, honestly, I feel like I hit you with most of those when you were like young.
Probably when I was young.
Yeah.
But that's when my hopes were probably its highest, though, when I was young.
You were like, I'm gonna be in the NFL. I was like, you know how rare, like how good you have to be for that to happen? Yeah, sorry. I'm kind of a downer sometimes.
But you know, I was like, well, maybe I'll do sports management or sports business, something in the business aspect, but still related to sports.
You also were interested in physical therapy for sports.
Therapy, yes. I you know, because I had surgery on my left shoulder twice, and I've done a lot of physical therapy in my life, and I always did walk out of physical therapy just like, you know, motivated and happy, just because each session your shoulder, you know, whatever you injured was progressing more and more.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was a really cool thing to feel. And I was like, well, maybe if I can help other people feel this as well, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there, you know, I didn't know until college that I wanted to do not even what I'm doing now, but just to be talking about films, just to love films, and just to, I mean, hopefully one day make films. You know, I would love to one day make a film. We'll start with a short film.
Yeah.
Some voice acting. I don't know. You know,
I don't want to put a constraint on what there is to pursue, you know?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and pursue anything, you know? So I just really like respect that about Ryan Coogler and can relate to that because I feel like a lot of filmmakers, I feel like a lot of actors, directors, they've known they've wanted to do that since they were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just something that they had in them. And
Spielberg, we got a whole damn movie about that.
Exactly. And you know what's funny? I was thinking about this today. We did make some short films as a kid. Oh my God. We did.
Yeah, we did.
Do you remember that? Do you
yes,
remember
I remember. Well, it was like recreation.
No, remember we made it with Kyle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were recreating.
That's right. We were recreating scenes, but we threw in
it was Smokey and the Bandit.
We threw in some original stuff in there too.
What was the original? Wait, was it like Santa? We had like a Santa thing.
We had a Santa thing. We had like a Buzz Lightyear thing, I think.
I can't remember that one.
Yeah, we started like dancing. Like there was a fight happening. The final scene was some fight was happening, and then like Santa comes in. He's like, "Hang on, guys, we're all friends." And then we like start dancing with each other.
Yeah.
There was one scene. There was one scene where I think Kyle is running out of the garage, and he like fakes.
Yeah, hitting the top of the garage. Yeah.
I'm gonna find that, and I'm gonna post it on the Patreon.
Oh God.
I'm gonna find that and post it, bro.
Oh my God.
Because it's actually funny as hell. But yeah, you know, a lot of people in that industry, they just know that's what they want to do, or their parents were maybe in that industry as well. Fucking our dad, he was in the Coast Guard, and our mom, I mean, she just does a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Well, most of her life she was in the restaurant industry.
Yeah, restaurant. So it's like we've really had to like find our own way in that aspect. And so I just think Ryan Coogler is like a huge inspiration to me in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really like Ryan Coogler. Seems like a chill guy too.
Yeah, he does.
Before we end this though, before our Sinners viewing, we got some great trailers. So my number one most anticipated movie for the rest of the year is him.
Man, I wonder why. After all this football talk.
Mm-hmm. The horror football film produced by Jordan Peele, directed by Justin Tipping. And man, this trailer was wicked. And I've been waiting for a sports horror movie like this. It seems very culty.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I already, you know, you can already kind of tell the direction they're going.
Yeah.
You know, like willing to do anything to be the best. And
Yes.
it seems like in this case, quite literally selling your soul.
Right. Because a lot of times when you make it to a professional level at the highest level, it's like, what are you willing to sacrifice? There's something in your life that you have to sacrifice, whether it be love or a loved one, or whether it be not like literally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's something that
sacrifice a relationship.
Right. A relationship, maybe your time to your friends, maybe your time to other, you know, childhood likings.
Yeah. Other interests that you have.
Yeah. You know, there's a sacrifice.
Things that bring you joy.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a sacrifice when it comes to getting to the highest level of a professional sport. And it's literally taking it to that literal level.
Yeah.
And the trailer starts off in such like I
just thought it was like a cool sports movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what are you going to do to be the best? And I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Nice. Like
a nice motivational movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Work hard and achieve your dreams kind of thing. And then it took a dark ass turn.
Yes. Takes a dark turn as soon as we see the headbutt with the helmet and we see the x-ray bodies and like the brain with the whole concussion stuff. And I was like, oh, let's fucking go.
Yeah. No, that was cool.
It was a really good trailer. I think it's my favorite trailer of the year, and that's going to be my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year now.
All right.
A lot of great things on this podcast episode. A lot of positive things, man. Like this is what we want to be doing, right? We just want to be praising film.
I don't want to go in there critiquing every little thing. It's like, and so, you know, people call you haters when you have problems with movies, but it's like, nah, man, there are movies out there that are just absolutely perfect. You know, it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it was mine.
It was my cup of tea too.
And I had no critiques, no notes, just an absolutely amazing movie. What an amazing theater experience, especially in IMAX. Go fucking watch it.
Yep. All right. We're going to end it on that. Go see Sinners on the biggest IMAX screen you possibly can, if possible. But go see it on the big screen for sure. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. This is not one you want to watch in your living room on your 43-inch TV.
Correct. So Sinners, 5 out of 5 stars. Ryan Coogler knocked it out of the park. Fantastic film. Best of the year so far. We'll see you next time on Duck Takes.
See you guys.